Hello, chain breakers. How are y'all doing? Y'all, we are out of town. This message is going to come. I think I'm going to upload it on Saturday. And I really didn't have, I thought about something and I wanted to talk to y'all about this. And I'm sorry, I'm shaking I'm shaking the table. I'm shaking the table. But I hope y'all are doing, how are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing all right. I won't be live on Saturday, but I said let me at least have a message for the VIP. So I wanted to come to y'all and talk to you about when you see the narcissist mass slip. And if you remember the first time, now if it's your parent, you might be used to seeing the mass slip, right? But if it's a significant other, like, do you remember the first time the mask slipped? And if you read my book, right, or if you ordered the book, The Blueprint of a Survivor, Breaking the Silence, you see where I talk about. Let me see if I have a yes. All right. You see where I talk about, if you've read for those of you who have ordered it, thank you first of all. But I talk a little bit about that, about my experience with domestic violence and seeing. I don't know if I talked about that in particular about the mass slip, but I talked a little bit about my story and kind of what me and my children went through, and it wasn't easy, right? But I was thinking about the first time the mask slipped, and the first time the mask slipped, y'all, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? Now, because it's more than just like a bad day, right? When you see the mass slip of somebody, because we all can have a bad day, right? We all can have a bad a mood, but it was more than a mood, right? When you see the narcissist mass slip, it's not just someone that is having a bad day. It's not just somebody that, something happened and, they became upset. When you see that mass slip, especially for the first time, it's like, oh my goodness, it's really like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And somebody may be watching this and they may be, thinking, oh, the personal change. Oh, we're going to go to therapy. We're going to go to counseling. You know, um, they're going to change. And I'm here to let you know, if that's you, especially if you're in the house with a narcissist, you're in a danger zone. And even if narcissists are so tricky, especially sociopathic and psychopaths, they are tricky, right? Because they'll make you think that everything is okay. And then at a time when you least expect it, when they've love bombed you and brought you back into the cycle of abuse, you know, you're thinking everything is okay. Oh, we're working it out, things are going well, even if it's a parent. Oh yeah, we're fine. I've set my boundary with my mother, I've set my boundary with my father, I've decided to go gray rock or whatever it is. And you talk to them, and then something happens to let you know that whatever you saw was indeed what you saw. And I don't know about you, but it made me feel like a sucker. And I don't like feeling like a sucker. You hear me? I sound like Stephanie in my New York accent. I don't like feeling like, Shannon from, look, I don't like feeling like a sucker. You hear me? Like you've given a person a chance and they took that chance that you've given them and they took it and they balled it up and they threw it back in your face after you saw the mask slip. Now that's where I tell people, if you stay in that, you'll go into acrimony. You can go into acrimony because you've seen the mask slip. You've given them a chance, and what did they do with that chance after chance after chance? What did they do with that chance? They took it, they balled it up, and they threw it back in your face. And that makes you feel like a sucker. That makes the ego, your ego, our ego, that makes you feel, or maybe it was just me. It was just me. Maybe it was just me. Because I don't like feeling like I got played. Who likes feeling like they got played? Especially when you're a kind hearted person. You play a kind hearted person. See, now, Look, the Holy Spirit be doing I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and act like it doesn't do something to me, because it does. It does. You're kind to people, you give them things, and then they turn around. This little piece of hair in my face is getting on my nerves. They turn around and they stab you in the back, because with a narcissist or a toxic person, no good deed goes unpunished. So if you do something kind for them, they're gonna repay you. They're gonna repay you with a knife in your back. And that's what happens when you deal with people like this. You'll see the mask slip. And the coverts are a little bit more tricky, because I dealt with a somatic narcissist, in marriage. But seeing that mask slip, I was scared, y'all. I was shooketh. Do you hear me? I was shooketh. I was like, what is this? Who is this person? Because I had been love bombed. So when he showed, like, buying me things and wooing me, and then we go from one extreme to another. And it took some time in my brain. My brain was like, trying to calculate, like, that person doing geometry and trig. And my brain was like, wait a minute, what is this? What is this? We just was on a high. And it's like somebody takes it and just whoosh, pulls the rug out from under you. And you go from one extreme into the other. And then that's the thing with the narcissist, any narcissistic relationship is just, and it's not the ebbs and flows of life. Because me and Solomon go through the ebbs and flows of life. But with a narcissist, you go through, it ain't glory to glory. It ain't mountain to mountain. It's mess to mess. You won't go from mess to mess. And you won't be cleaning up the messes. That's what they don't tell you when you're signing up for that demonic contract and that demonic soul tie. They don't tell you that you are signing up for the mess. You signing up to clean up their messes. You signing up for their financial responsibility. A lot of times you signing up for a demonic soul tie. You're re-upping the demonic contract. You're extending the generational curse. Oh, that's what psychology don't tell you about when you don't go no contact. No, we got to talk about the spiritual side of this thing. That's why it's not just about your emotions. It's not just about how you feel. You got to know what's going on in the spiritual realm. But when I saw that mask slip, it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And some of you, men and women men or for a man, it could be what Dr. Jekyll, Miss Hyde. It could go either way, and when you see it in a parent, when the mask really slipped, or with a family member, I was like, because I had saw it with everybody else, but I didn't know the gun was gonna come to me. But they said ain't no fun if the rabbit's got the gun. Look, that thing got pointed at me, and I knew something was wrong. You've heard me talk about this, but I didn't ever think it was gonna be turned to me. I thought, those people had did something, when I was a flying monkey, I guess you could say, when I didn't know any better, when I was an enabler, for my family. I was an enabler. And when I was an enabler, like I was blinded. And a lot of things were hidden from me, because I'm the one, I'm the one in the family that's like, the last to know things. Like I'm just in my own world, I'm just in my own world. My husband is calling me. Let me call him back. Let me text him right quick. Okay. Let me text him. I should have answered on my other phone, but I didn't know if it was gonna knock me off of here. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. But oh yeah, so when I saw the mask slip with the family member, and I'm sorry, my laptop is shaking. When I saw it with the family member, this key is still not working. It threw me off. Hold on, y'all. Let me answer this door. Your key is still not working? The key's still not working? Oh, it won't work. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I'm doing a recording. Y'all get to see it? All right, y'all. But hey Solomon. But so we're talking about the mask slip. But when I saw it slip, it was like, what's going on? And when I saw it with a family member, it was like, what is this? And sometimes we think we can like tame the beast. we know that beast is in there, but we think we are the ones that can tame that person. I don't want to. I'm not a beast tamer. I'm not a demon tamer. I'm not any of that. That's up to that person to want to do that work. So I wanted to ask you. So do you remember, if especially if you were in a family or in an interpersonal relationship, when did you see the mask slip? Like, what did you do? Like for me, it was just like I was in the twilight zone, like something was swirling around my head. Like, what did you do in that moment? How did you handle that? And some that might help somebody else in the comment section, how to deal with it. Honestly, I don't, for me, I always say you got to stay rooted in reality. You got to stay rooted in reality of what you see, because then that gaslighting will start to set in, because you have that soul tie and that trauma bond, right? It'll start to make things fuzzy in your mind, and you really have to stay rooted in reality and not the gaslighting and not what they're telling you. Oh no, because they're going to come back and try. Some of them now, some of them, they say narcissists don't apologize. Some of them do. Some of them, now, do they mean it? No. And if they do apologize, some of them will give a little half-hearted, but most of the time narcissists just act like never, nothing ever happened. you know Nothing ever happened unless you bring it up, unless you address it or something like that. So what do you recommend? What do I recommend? I already said it. If you see that, just stay rooted in reality of what you know. Take notes, take pictures, journal it, document it, especially if it's at work or something like that. Document it, do what you have to do, all right, to protect you and your sanity, because these narcissists really want to drive you insane. All right. So we're talking about the mask slip. So let me know how you handle it. What did you do? What do you recommend to somebody else the first time they see the mask slip? I'll say the first time you see the mask slip, get your hat, your coat, because and really um get to the root of that. Um because you're likely not dealing with somebody who is rational and normal, a normal minded person. You're not dealing with someone who just had a bad day or something like that. It's usually not like that. We all can have bad days, but with narcissists, it's a pattern of that behavior. And then some of them are so wicked. um well, no, I think there's always signs. I think a lot of times we just choose to ignore them. When I look at like Shannon Watson, people are like, "Oh no, he was the perfect husband," or Scott Peterson. I think there are times that the mask slip. But and this is why I tell my children, like, watch people's micro aggressions, or micro, what is it? Microaggressions, micro, like facial expressions, because narcissists, with their smile, like, it doesn't meet their eyes. You know what I mean? Their smile doesn't meet their eyes. Or if you see two people, like, you walk into a room and then everybody stops talking, or those are little micro, I think it's called microaggressions. Watch that. I remember being in a room with somebody who later I found out didn't even like me, and now that I think about it, she was talking to the person I was there to see, and I saw them like make this little like eye contact and then look back at me real quick, or not even real quick. They like locked eyes, like they was talking in some nonverbal communication, and I'm standing there looking. I gave the person to give it. I'm standing there looking, and I caught it. I'm like, noted. You know what I mean? So little stuff like that'll give you an indicator. You in the room and people like, you feel it. You'll feel it. You'll sense it. You'll sense it in your spirit when something isn't right, or when people are conspiring against you, or when something in the buttermilk ain't clean. You'll feel it. You'll sense it in your spirit, and then it'll be up to you to act on it. Or you have some good news, and they like, hmm oh, I gotta go now. It doesn't quite meet their eyes. You like, if you really start to pay attention to people, like I always say, people tell you exactly who they are, because you can't pretend. A person that is pretending cannot pretend forever. A person that is pretending, and a narcissist, what I learned, like with my family, when my family member did that, I was like, everything that he had been wanting to tell me, he told me. And I was like, wow, you've been feeling this about me all these years. We could have been and got this over with. Like, we could have been and got this over with. You could have been and told me this. You feel me? So I'm like, if anybody's around me and you don't like me, get away from me. You feel some kind of way in your heart about me. You feel just like, get away from me. Like, I don't care if I like you and you feeling some kind of way towards me, because if I don't like you, I'm gonna stay away from you. I'm gonna stay away from you. Why would I be around somebody that I don't like? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I pretend to support somebody that I know in my heart I'm harboring hate for? That is some strong. Like, what is? I don't have that in me. I don't have that in me. First of all, I have a limited amount of time. I gotta do stuff. I don't have time to be around people that I'm not checking for. I don't have time for that. And people will sit around you because they think it's some kind of way they benefit from you, but they don't have the kahunas or whatever you want to call it to do it for themselves, or whatever they're benefiting some kind of way by being with you. Wow. Mm-mm. I don't have a user spirit. Some people got a user spirit. They'll stay with you long enough to get what they need to get from you, and then they're gonna get gone. They're gonna get gone like the wind. All right. And then some people, I've had people around me that, didn't like me, and then, they ghosted me. Good. Good. I like it like that. It'll shock me for a second, but then I'll just be like, oh, because my block game is strong too. So sometimes God will allow people to do that to us, and then sometimes we do have to do that when people have shown themselves, to be who they are. You know what I mean? And you can't have that discussion. Now, narcissists, they do it, and they're cowards. They don't have a discussion because they're cowards, and they won't have a conversation with you. They'll just do that to inflict maximum damage. But rational people typically don't do that unless it's at a last resort. They've tried everything else, and now they know that they have to protect themselves and their boundaries. So ghosting and setting boundaries are done for two totally different reasons. They may look the same on the outside, but they're done with very different intents. One is not done with malice, and the other one is, or because you're getting too close to seeing the mask. And sometimes they'll do that too. Once they kind of feel backed into a corner, they'll do things to make sure that to cover their tracks so that you don't see behind the mask. All right. So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to have a conversation about that. Thank you for being a VIP member. I don't think I'm going to upload this, so I think this is going to be a VIP member video. So I'll be back live February the 4th. Make sure you come over to Faith-Based Workplace. I think he'll be back live next Wednesday. All right. So, and then he and I will be live February the 14th. My lives for this month are already listed. I think it's February 4th, February 11th, and then Solomon, I'll be live February 14th. And then if God has me do something after that, I'll definitely put it in the community tab. All right. What else? Get the book. Support the book. All right. Thank you so much to those of you who have supported this ministry, this coaching business. Join us for February in the coaching program. You can sign up. Some people have already signed up for 90 days. Thank you. And have already, signed up for February. Thank you. And then if you're interested in recovering from narcissist abuse, we go deeper, y'all. CBU is amazing. Like I always say, I don't know any program that's like this, that's doing this, and it's not me, it's the Holy Spirit. So I thank God for the work that I get to do and the people that I get to come across, and everything that we're doing to build up warriors and to help people recover their lives from narcissist abuse, from spiritual warfare. All right. So until next time, make sure you check the community tab, support Faith-Based Workplace, and we'll see you around. Okay. God bless you. And don't forget to thank you for subscribing. Well, you're already subscribed. I don't even have to say that. All right. Until next time. See you later. Bye bye.